everybody, it is Quicken, and welcome back to 5 Fact Friday. And I also apologize for, I got sunburned. I got sunburned outside, and I was wearing this hat like this. You can like see, and I was wearing these glasses, and it was cold outside. How did I get sunburned? So I have sunburn, and my septum ring is in. I'm trying new things. I don't know. So I have some really awesome questions from you guys, and I'm sorry that 5 Fact Friday is like so delayed. These questions are so good, so I'm gonna get into this. So the first question is, do you ever feel pressure to adopt a more adult aesthetic? Like, you know, natural hair color, jeans with simple designs, more like office appropriate type of attire. I ask because since becoming a mom, I felt the pressure hit me hard and therefore completely changed my look. Now I guess I seem more tame. People get surprised if they find out about those quirks I have that were more expected as a teenager. So as I get older, do I think that I should dress more tame? This is something I kind of think about a lot. Like last weekend, my whole life friend Justine and I, we went to the mall, and I was like, hey, like I want to get overalls and like a wallet. And I was like, these are the two things I want. And I remember like we went into Forever 21, and the whole time I was like, can I shop here? Because I'm Forever 27 right now. And a lot of the things like I kind of saw, and we saw this one thing, and Justine was like, that's too short for you. And I was like, you're right. Then I was like, who is it made for then? All right, kids, teenagers. That's it. Why am I still here? Why am I still shopping here? But I was like, oh, but like my aesthetic, I want overalls. So I kind of think about that a lot. And I think about like not necessarily my hair changing, just because I am in salon industry and like I want to look like the hair I also want to do. So I kind of like my hair aesthetic. I mean, honestly, I just want to look like Joanna Newsom, and since that probably isn't going to happen, I'm not sure. Like, there definitely is, like, Sunny, Derek Brimsey's wife, she posted something where she was, like, in a George Costanza crop top, and she was, like, millennial aesthetic or something like that. And I was like, yeah, like, when do we get cut off from that stuff? And I was like, probably never, but do I feel uncomfortable dressing like that? Like, the other day I was like, am I too old for glitter roots? I'm not gonna try them. I'm an old woman. So I don't really know. I don't think there's a lot of social pressure, but I think that, like, I'm my biggest critic if I feel like I do something that's, like, way too young or, like, makes me look young. But then again, I don't know. I've never had, like, a super crazy style, I don't think. Like, I think that I dress... So even now, I don't know, because this is the shirt I'm wearing now. Oh, and a good opportunity to crack my back. And I'm kind of like, when do I stop dressing like that? Never. But then again, if I had kids, I'm not really sure. If the person who asked me this said that as a mom, they're transitioning into different style. So I'm not totally sure. Like, I did find myself at the store thinking, like, that's too short. I can't wear that. But I never was worried about, like, if I dressed like a hoe or not when I was in high school, because I also had a different understanding of taste then. Because I was like, oh, if I want to look good, I have to show my legs. But now I'm like, if I want to look good, I better be comfortable. So I don't know if that's just me getting older anyway. So I'm not really sure. I think to answer this, like, I don't feel a lot of social pressure to dress like according to my age, because I'm not exactly sure what that is. But as I get older, there are things that do change. Like, I don't want to wear like really short clothes anymore. I do want to be more comfortable. I don't think that my hair is too bad, but then like the other day I was like, when do I stop wearing like a beanie every single day? Like, when do I stop doing that? Like, how old do you have to be to stop doing that? 45? When I'm 45, do I not get to wear a beanie anymore? So I don't exactly know. I always like seeing people who are older than me like doing exactly what I do or dressing just like me. So I'm not sure, but I definitely do feel that pressure, but it's not with a ton of stuff. It really depends, but it's not because I'm alt or anything like that. So I really liked this one a lot. I'm trying to fade out my hair, and like seeing it in the viewfinder is like bumming me out, but this is how you fade it out. So I really like this question, and I have sunburn. Have you ever felt sad when you see someone on social media that you think would be that you would really get along with? But let me start over. Have you ever felt sad when you see someone on social media that you think that you would really get along with, but they have a large following, so it would be nearly impossible to get them to notice you without spamming or being annoying? How do you deal with that feeling of people you would really enjoy having in your life but are unattainable to you? So I thought this was really interesting because it was asked to me, who might be someone with like really, really mild, like may seem inaccessible to, but I also experienced that as well. So I thought it would be cool to answer. And it is a difficult thing. Like, it is hard. Like I think that I would get along with Mikey from Glam and Gore, and I'm like pretty sure she just went vegan, and I think she's from Philly, so I'm like, you and me, we could talk about stuff. I bet you had this shitty sponsor once. Emails, right? And then we could eat. So that's kind of hard because you like know that you might get along with somebody. And there are people who I have met and that I do get along with. Like, I met Morgan Joyce, and that was really hard because I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna fucking bother her, I'm gonna annoy her, I'm gonna say something stupid. Like, what if we're vegan but like she does one thing and like I do another thing? Like, that was hard, and then we met and then we got along. So in one case, it was like unattainable, and then in another case, it wasn't. But what I tried to tell myself is that you can follow somebody as entertainment, like if you follow any celebrities, if you follow any brands, and you follow them and it's entertaining to you, and you're glad that they're on your feed. Like, for a while, I thought it was really weird that people would follow makeup companies on Instagram, because I was like, it's just a commercial. Why would you follow them? To see what's new? And then I started doing it, and I was like, oh no, this is fun. This is entertainment. So it's kind of like, you can follow someone. Like, I can follow Mikey. For example, this isn't like a Dear Stan kind of thing, but I can follow Mikey and like be entertained by the content she puts out, and that can fulfill me, and then kind of leave it at that. And that can be hard sometimes, because sometimes she says something and I'm like, oh, I should DM her, and I'm like, I can't DM her because all she did was put out something for me to enjoy, but not me personally, Amanda, but for anyone to enjoy, like the news or TV or brands who aren't people. And, you know, the question is, like, how do you deal with that? And it doesn't upset me, like, really deep down in my heart. But I don't know. I also have seen it from the other side. And that can be hard, too, because I do see, like, people trying to reach out to me. And I think, you know, I'm a smaller channel and a smaller YouTuber, so there is more that I can do, and, you know, I can host meetups still and meet people and kind of bridge that gap, but I do always worry about the day that it becomes too hard and that I can't do it. And I think just like having the understanding from both sides does help me, because I can be like, oh, I get along with Mikey, but she can't. And then it's like, oh, I bet I would get along with a ton of my subscribers, but there's like that in between where it's like, I just create content and then people enjoy it. It's hard, you know? Would I hang out with H3H3 in a fucking second? But I don't think I can, unless they showed up. But sometimes creators do get together, and how do you get people to notice you? That was the rest of the question. I don't know. I don't ever try to be noticed too hard. like, I'll comment sometimes on, like, Graveyard Girl's videos just because I do watch them and I've watched her for years. And I'll comment on, like, Philip DeFranco's kind of videos, but not because I want to be noticed. I just want to add to the conversation and kind of communicate with the people around me that, like, I enjoyed this content as well. So I'll always, like, try to comment and stuff. And if I never get noticed, like, that's what it is. But in those things, and I don't want to call it a fandom, I'm going to say fandom. I kind of feel like participating in that fandom sometimes is enough for me too. Like, I'll always comment on one of Mikey's videos, and if somebody, like, comments back, or if I see a comment I like, I'll comment on that too, and I still get to participate in the fandom, and, like, that's cool. And, like, if one day I ever get noticed, like, that would be awesome. But I do also understand that the creators are putting out content for a mass audience to entertain and not just for me. And that's hard because sometimes someone will say something so relatable to you that you're like, have we known each other our entire lives? But then, I don't know, I think it's cool to feel validated. And it's hard for me to say this because I'm not trying to discourage anybody, or I don't want anyone to be like, oh, like, she's a YouTuber and she can't even get people to notice her, and, like, yeah. I don't know. But I've also always been pretty shy and leaning more towards introvert than the opposite. So, I don't know. It doesn't upset me anymore, though. It's not upsetting. But in my life, you know, I've been on the internet for a long time, and I've felt the nuances of the internet for a long time. So, you know, 5 or 6 years ago, was it harder when I wanted someone to notice me? Yes, but also being on the internet for this long, I also just understand how impossible it can be and how drowned out your message can be. And I don't discourage anybody from leaving comments or messages. I still message and comment my favorite creators, but it's all support. So I don't know. Come to my next meetup. I really like this question. I almost answered it once I got it, and then I was like, no girl, save that juice. So I was like, so this is, hey Quicken, I'm slowly transitioning into cruelty-free, but I can't find a lot of cheap brands that are cruelty-free, shampoos and etc. And I can't really spend $10 on one item. Lush, I'm looking at you. Could you tell me some brands or make a video? I would be so grateful. Thanks for reading. So I think making a video would be cool, and I don't want to, like, turn that down. But I just had some stuff I wanted to say, and this is all, like, a personal opinion of me, but I just feel like you can't beat yourself up in the transition. And transitioning into being cruelty-free, like using cruelty-free products, is hard, especially when you can buy something and then find out on a forum 2 weeks later that the company sold itself to the fucking devil and now all your products are worthless to you. And that's really hard. I mean, personally, I used OPI nail polish because they were cruelty-free, and now they're not. And I used Too Faced and Becca Cosmetics because they were cruelty-free, and suddenly they aren't. And that is such a hard thing because now you don't trust any company. And I'm like, I want to use NYX, but then some, like, really hard, like, die-hard cruelty-free people will say you can't use NYX. What can you use? So I really honestly feel like all of it is a transition. And in my personal experience, I didn't throw out all of the stuff I couldn't use. I just used it and then did research to buy something new to replace it. So if, you know, you're looking at shampoo and it's cruelty-free and it's $10 and you're like, oh my god, I went to the store to replace all of my things and all of a sudden I'm spending $100. I really just think that you should replace one thing at a time, and that will also help you love the product that you buy. And I'm not trying to, like, tell you some minimalism jargon or whatever, but I really feel that, like, if you go into buying one thing and it's to replace your shampoo. Like, you used the same shampoo and then you realized like it wasn't a cruelty-free shampoo and you're like, I want to change to a good and ethical brand that I trust. You could switch to Aveda, just throwing that out there, and just buy one shampoo. So that's $13 if you buy like Shampure, their like most basic, Rosemary Mint, most basic shampoo they own, $13. Now, you don't even have to buy the conditioner that day. You don't have to buy soap. You don't have to buy laundry detergent. Just replace one thing at a time. You run out of mascara. From now on, you just use a cruelty-free mascara. I'm not saying like go on a giant, huge shopping spree, but just replace one thing at a time. And I feel like when I buy things with purpose, I love the product more. So like if I go and I buy like 30 things all at once just because I wanted them, I feel like those are the things that always like end up scattered in my drawer that I don't really reach for as much. But if you know you're like, hey, I'm cruelty free from now on and it sucks because I loved Fix Plus by MAC and I really cannot get a yes or no on their animal testing policy. It's like I used all my Fix Plus and then I switched to Pixie Beauty. I think that's what it's called. And that setting spray was like $17 or $18, maybe even more. And I remember when I went to Target, I bought like one other thing because I was like, $17, what the fuck? I'll also buy cookie dough and that's it. But every day, you know, I went home, I read the instructions on it, I use it, I think about it, it's right on my sink, and it's something that I'm like excited to own. And I know that there are probably lower end setting sprays, like vegan ones, but this was a brand that I was like, I can trust them and I'm gonna go for it. So I know that this is a far stray from the original conversation, but I just feel like the undertones are like, oh my god, I want it to be cruelty free and all this shit is so expensive. But I say like, really don't beat yourself up about the things you already have in your collection and just honor them and use them fully 100% until they're gone, and then research and buy something better. Maybe it's not better, you know, just because it's cruelty free doesn't mean it's better. But do your research and find a product that you love one by one. And that's hard, you know. I have so much OPI nail polish that I'll literally never be able to use in its entirety. But there is a new little excitement and thrill to buying the cruelty-free nail polish in the future. And if it's $10 a bottle, you're really going to decide, do I need this? Or is this just like some shit I'm buying real quick? And I think that that can help you be less wasteful as well. And if you just want to have a ton of stuff and you want the ton of stuff to be vegan, like I use NYX products. I believe they're owned by Estee Lauder, but I don't know. Whole Foods sells meat too. What are you gonna do? I don't know. I don't know what's right or wrong. You know, I'm trying my best. So you could switch to like an affordable drugstore, like Wet n Wild is affordable and stuff, but is it the best for you? Is it the best stuff? If you're looking for the best, I think research can be great, and buying things one at a time, not spending $100, but literally just buying one shampoo to replace your empty, non-cruelty free shampoo. Yeah, I can go crazy at Lush, but honestly, I go to Lush like 3 times a year and I buy a body wash when my body wash runs out. And you know, it's possible to go there and spend $200 in one shopping trip. But if you know what you want and you like it and you just buy it one thing at a time, that's kind of just like how I feel. And that kind of purchasing is more ethical as well because you're not wasting a ton of stuff. So I don't know. It's such a personal thing that I wish you the best. So my last question, and I'm going to answer this pretty quickly because who knows how long this is. Hi Quicken, do you have any advice about being a social media presence? I'm an art student starting to think about building an online identity for my creative work, but I'm also social media phobic and feel really stressed approaching digital self-promotion when my peers are so far ahead of me. Thank you so much. So I'll kind of get questions like this a lot, like, hey, how do you start on YouTube and stuff like that. And I have 2 videos about like where Quicken came from and like how my blog developed, and I also have like tips for starting a YouTube channel. I can leave those linked below, but they are kind of old and do need to be kind of updated because I was like, oh, I have 25,000 subscribers. Let me tell everyone my secrets. But honestly, I just feel like if you want to take the plunge and start on social media, you honestly just have to present it really organically and just be yourself. And I know that's like such a cliche at this point. Everyone said it, but there's honestly truth in it. So if you're like the person asked, like, is it hard? I'm so far behind. I just think that if you want to have a digital and live portfolio that represents your work or represents, you know, your art, your makeup, your personality, like your hobby, it's never too late. And you know, I still think that I should make like a hair Instagram. I think that all the time, and I'm like, oh, but no one's gonna follow it. But that kind of like doesn't matter because your friends are always gonna follow it too and support you. And you have to figure out like what kind of audience you really want. And I don't do like a ton of cross promotion. I'm not like, welcome my video, follow me on Instagram. I mean, I could. You guys are pretty cool. I don't think that would bother you. But I just think the best approach is to let people organically come to you because they weren't tricked into following you. They weren't on like a follow train. They found you and they were like, oh, I'm interested in this and I'm going to follow it because I like it, not because I was forced here somehow or funneled into this Instagram and now here I am. I follow because I don't know. I just feel like it's better to have somebody who found you organically and they are a humble part of your social media presence. When I started my Tumblr, you know, it wasn't for anybody except for me. And when people started tuning in, it was exciting because you're like, oh, my work, people see it and they like it. And that's all I would ever want. And my Tumblr started just from me being consistent and posting frequently and authentically. And that's my best advice to anybody who wants to start on social media. What do you like? What is that thing? For my Tumblr, I guess it's like my life. But it's like me. So I would post about me, and then some people would tune in. So post what you like. If people start tuning in, like that's cool. And then keep going and post a lot or a little. But if you want to build that social media presence and you're nervous that your peers are like so far ahead of you, just see what works for them and see if that also works for you. I post a lot because social media, I mean, blogging was already my hobby, and then social media took off, and those things kind of like blend into one another. So I don't think it's ever too late. I think being afraid of social media, though, is a fair phobia because I think that it's hard and it's harsh and, you know, you're just trying to come out here and live. People don't like that. But it's cool and it's something you can do with your friends, and if it's to supplement your art career, like, I think that's totally cool. I've found all of the artists I currently know through social media in that way. So I think it would be a great way to network and build. But I don't know, it's such a personal journey and I don't have any right or wrong answers. I don't use hashtags. I probably should. But you could. There's good videos out there, you know, to help you, and you can listen to them and be like, oh, that wouldn't work for me, but what if I adjusted it and did this? I don't know. The best of luck. Social media is hard, and when people tease me about it, I'm like, do better than me. Damn it. Which isn't fair for me to say. But sometimes I get really upset and I feel cornered. I love you guys. This is 5 Pack Friday. Give this video a thumbs up, and I'm sorry for all the delays. I do want to get back into a regular schedule, but everything is just healing and finding time and living my life and being my organic self and finding all the time. But I feel like things are getting better, and I like that. So thanks for all your forgiveness, always. Hit that subscribe button if it's your first time here. Give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment down below. I love you guys. Thank you always for all of the comments and questions. You can always leave your questions in the comments down below or hit me up on Twitter or Tumblr. I love you guys, and until next time, bye.